Greetings and welcome to Chant Day. Today's psalm is the shortest one in the book of Psalms. When I got up and saw it, I was like, that's 3 minutes of psalms. So, however, we have some other words today that we're going to share. So, the recognition of sin is the beginning of salvation. Putting sin to death is a life of sanctification. So we have all fallen short of the glory. We've all fallen short of it. So acknowledging that gives you a future. It gives you a clean, stress-free future because you have released all of the wrongness that you have done. That's why pastors are pastors, because they talk about what they've done wrong and that they've been, redeemed, and they are examples of how you too can be redeemed and, seeking a life of just goodness and being kind to people. So let's begin with the psalm today. And the psalm today is 117. I'm going to go get my hot tea because that's what I like, my hot tea. And we're going to get started. As you see, I have books behind here that I have to give to the public school. So let's set this down somewhere. So today is Monday. It's Monday, and it's not the first Monday. Well, let's see. The first Monday of the month was the 5th. This is the 12th, the Monday. And then we have a couple things going on as we begin the semester. So we're going to start with the psalm. Okay. So welcome to those of you just joining. This is Chant a Day, where we translate the psalms into words of liberation. To liberate the word. The word has been... Martin Luther King Jr. said it the best. It's been crouched in the language, and the language is the last thing that we need to break the chains of, because slavery does not only come in a physical slavery, it also comes in a mental slavery where people are mentally enslaved. So breaking those chains begins with the word, okay? So when you are looking at the Psalms, and I look at the Psalms and I translate them into words of liberation, and in translating that, we find a more meaningful approach to our own lives. So in the Psalm today, Psalm 117, it's titled, "The Lord's Faithfulness Endures for All Time to Come." So who is the Lord? The Lord is righteousness. That's what the Lord is. So righteousness is faithfulness, because righteousness is always there. Righteousness is faithfulness, endures for all time to come. So when we look at God, we look at Lord, we look at Jesus, we are looking at righteousness, mercy, love. That's what it's supposed to be. But people do all kind of nefarious things in the names of God, Lord, and Jesus. However, when you unpack that, behind that is love and kindness. And if you're coming on this channel and you don't have any love and kindness, I think you need to remove yourself, or I will remove you from this platform. Okay? So we translate the word. So faithfulness of righteousness endures forever. Righteousness is always there. It's omnipresent. It's with us, it's within us, it's outside of us, it's there. We just have to find that within ourselves so that we can then see it in others. You can't see goodness unless you are about goodness, right? When somebody's attacking you, it's because they can't see their own goodness. So they are going to put you down. They're going to, lay words that are not lifting you up. So when we talk about the translating of the Psalms, we're translating the word into liberated words. I'm not changing any of the words into something different. It is the same word used in a one word, one sound way. So this psalm is 2 verses. Psalm 117. Righteousness's faithfulness endures always. Always. So verse 1 starts with giving thanks, making a melody, making music to righteousness. And all the nations should do this because it's only righteousness that's going to exalt a nation. So when the nations are talking about religiosity and religion and denominations and different orders of religions, it's very divisive. It separates us from fellowshipping with other people. My dad's memorial brought together the Lutheran Church, the Catholic Church, and it brought together numerous denominations, all under one roof, giving thanks to the same Almighty that is love and kindness and righteousness, is the same one. We've just been divided up so that we can be conquered up. So instead of being divisive, I am inclusive of liberating everyone who comes to this channel and wants to listen to the liberation of the words. So verse 1 talks about chanting, making music to righteousness, extolling that righteousness and among all people, not just the nations, but the people that are in the nations. And it tells why. For Psalm 117 verse 2 speaks of great is the steadfast love that is toward I and I. So we are being given steadfast love. We are being given righteousness and kindness and mercy and compassion. We are being given these things. It's for all ways steadfast towards I and I. We just push it away and go about our own understanding, standing under something when we're supposed to be standing in our righteousness and our mercy and our love and kindness. So verse 2 is talking about this righteousness is steadfast love that's always coming at us, right? And the faithfulness of righteousness endures always. Chant to the Most High's righteousness. And that's the psalm. Selah and Selah again. That is the psalm today. Give thanks for the psalm today as we go into our word today. Our word today, when I got up and looked at it, it is joy. Joy. Living in joy keeps I and I rooted in righteousness, because joy and righteousness go hand in hand, doesn't it? So even during the most trying times, breakups, my dad passed, being lied to, being cheated on, not being told the person met someone, all that, trying times. I need never forego the feeling of deep joy when I remain centered in righteousness. Joy is not a mood, and joy is so much more than a feeling. Joy is one of I and I righteous gifts an aspect of I divine inheritance. You have inherited joy. Receive it, choose it, live it, be it, love it. Hold on to joy. I can meet life's difficulties with joy and serenity. I draw upon I feed indwelling joy in the same way I would draw water from a well. So think of it this way. When you're drinking water, think of yourself as pouring joy into you, okay? In your mind, as you're drinking the water, think about that. You want to pour joy into you. Even though I might not find water on the surface, I trust when I reach for the water, I will find the water beneath the surface. The same thing is true of joy. Even though there may not appear to be things for which to feel joy, I can find joy when I look. So we might not be in a world or in an environment or in a surrounding where people are joyful. They may be hateful. They may be angry. They may be upset. They may be attacking you. They may be, doing all these things that are not about joy. You have to find that within yourself. It's hard, but you can do it. I trust joy is in the love beyond the pain. So beyond the pain, I trust that joy is right around the corner, the health beyond the illness, and the forgiveness beyond the hurt. When you can love beyond the pain, when you can heal beyond the illness, when you can forgive beyond the hurt, that's joy. You found it. In joy, I find righteousness anew. You find a new kind of righteousness, a new kind of love, a love that doesn't hurt, a love that there's no pain, a love that there's no sorrow, there's no animosity or jealousy or envy. It's just joy. It's just newness of joy and love and kindness, mercy, compassion. It's all of that. And when you embrace that fully, people stop at God, Lord, and Jesus, and they're like, that's all they call. You gotta go deep, folks. You gotta go behind these labels and go deep. What does that mean? What does God mean? What does Lord mean? What does Jesus mean? It means love and kindness and compassion and mercy. So why aren't you showing that to folks? I'm not talking about you out there. I'm talking about folks who are not kind. They don't show kindness. They get upset at the drop of a heartbeat pin. They call people out their names. They attack. Why is that? You have to heal your trauma. Childhood trauma is a serious illness. It's a serious disease because it impacts your adult relationships. So in the word today, joy, we see Philippians 4:4. Philippians 4:4. Rejoice in righteousness always. Again, I speak. Rejoice. So rejoice means to joy again. Have a new joy. Have something new that you're focusing on the joy of that. Whether it's giving your time to a food pantry, whether it's helping the homeless, whether it's cleaning up the church, whether it's cleaning up the beach, whatever it is, find joy in what you do. Find joy in all that you live for. Find joy. People might say to you, oh, you're being fake. You're not that happy. You're joyful all the time. You gotta be fake. And it's like, really? Okay. It's not about fake. It's about truth. It's about honesty. It's about integrity. It's about long suffering. It's about forgiveness. It's about all the attributes that people look to as God, as Lord. What are you worshiping? Are you worshiping human beings? Or are you worshiping the omnipresent of righteousness that's pure, that's unadulterated, that's free? It doesn't cost a penny to be joyful. It doesn't cost a dime to be thankful. It doesn't cost anything to give kindness. So, the word today is joy. Living in joy keeps all of I, rooted in righteousness. That's my new t-shirt. Rooted in righteousness. Okay, remember yesterday I gave you some t-shirt names, right? Righteousness is my weapon. God bless you. Righteousness is my weapon of mass destruction upon the wicked, right? Now my t-shirt today is rooted in righteousness. That's where you're grounded. That's where you're going to be able to drive through this journey called life. And when people talk about life happens, it certainly does. And you got to be ready. So you got to hold on to your goodness, your joy, your compassion, and your mercy. And most importantly, your love. Because love is all around you. It's not just found when somebody is having sex with you. Love is found when you are embracing and looking at a flower. Love is found when you're cuddling with someone that you care about. Love is found in the sky and in the waves of the seas. Love is omnipresent. It's there. So I love that the word today is joy, and it's supported by Philippians 4:4. I also wanted to look at what the verse of the day is today. And where's my other phone? Oh, here it is. So the verse today is coming from Corinthians, 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20. So 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20 speaks, do you not know that your bodies are temples of righteousness? I just talked about that. You don't have to love is not just about having sex, right, with your body. Sex is an expression of that love. It's part of communication. However, you got to be careful who you share that with, right? Do you not know that this body is a temple? That's why in past relationships, I would want to kneel down beside the bed. And let me tell you, one time this happened, I knelt down beside the bed and with my partner, and we both spoke to and communed with righteousness, God, Lord, whatever you want to call that one, right? We communed with that. And then we went to rest. And guess what happened? We made beautiful love. And that beautiful love was out of that communication with righteousness. We put that first. And that was what brought us into that loving space of communicating with our bodies. Because your body is a temple. I don't even want to call it a body. It's a goodie. It's a temple where righteousness dwells. So who is in you? Who you have received from God, from righteousness. So that righteousness is in you that you receive from righteousness. You are not your own. You were bought at a price. Therefore, honor righteousness with your goodies, right? You honor that righteousness with your goodie, with your entire physical being. I'm going to call it that. Your physical being, your entire physical being. You honor righteousness with that. So men or women, you're not going to abuse each other. You're not going to put your hand on each other. You're not going to violently have domestic relationships of violence, because you know that your your physical being is a temple. It's a temple of righteousness. That's why you do not put certain foods, because food's so close to fool, inside your body. It's going to cause you to get sick. It's going to cause diseases, right? So that's why it's important to look at your physical being as a temple of righteousness. Get the wrongness out of it and put in the righteousness. That's why people speak about pouring into me as I pour into you. You're pouring into a person's physical being, their intellectual being, their emotional being, their social being. You're pouring into them all these areas of their lives, and you're looking to be having that reciprocity. Okay? Lauryn Hill talks about it in her song X Factor, about reciprocity. You're giving, but you're not giving back anything. So the verse today is very powerful. 1 Corinthians chapter 6 verse 19 to 20. It is off the chain, high frequency here, because the words that I use, the frequency of these words are very high. They're not low. The frequency words that are low start with the prefix dis and con. Anything with the prefix con is a low frequency, because con is a lie. And dis, D-I-S, is also negative. It's a negative. Disassociate, discord, all of that is negative. It's a very low to the flow energy. So I use up high energy words. So when you come to this channel, that's what you're going to get. You're going to get high energy words. So I want to read the verse again because it's very powerful. Do you not know that your physical beings are temples of sacred righteousness that is in you, whom you have received from righteousness itself? Okay? You are not your own. So this body is not yours. It's just, you're borrowing it. I saw my dad laying on the ground. He wasn't there. His body was, but he wasn't. So that tells me that the body is temporary. It's not going to be here forever. It's temporary. So what do we do with our bodies? Are we going to hurt them? Are we going to abuse them? Or are we going to lift them up as temples of righteousness? When you touch my body, you're supposed to feel righteousness, goodness and mercy and love and kindness. And that is supposed to be something that you carry throughout your journey with a person, right? With someone, a partner. So we have this, we have the word today, the verse today from 1 Corinthians. And it touched me because it is temporary. We cannot hold on to people's bodies. They're temporary. We can love their bodies, be with them and all that, but it's temporary. And that's why people go from relationship to relationship to relationship, right? They leave one and they go to the next one. They leave that one and go to the next one because they want to have that physical being with them. Some people talk about, oh, you can't be alone. You got to have a relationship. You have to have somebody. Then some people like, I don't need anyone. I can be by myself. So when we look at the verse today in 1 Corinthians, it is really important that we see how Psalm 117 about the faithfulness that endures always is aligned or is part of this verse about our temples. This is your temple. It's your sacred temple, okay? And that sacred temple must be fed sacred food. It must be. It must be fed sacred food. It must be given love. It must be touched. It must be touched in a kind, loving way and given an upliftment, right? A healing foods so that you don't have diabetes, so you don't have high blood pressure, so you don't have back pain and all the different physical ailments, because you're not treasuring your physical being as a temple. When you treasure your physical being as a temple, it's going to not hurt you. Okay? And I can tell you that from myself, because I was overworking my temple, lifting up boxes, and my back started to hurt. And I was like, wait a minute, what is happening? I have done this to myself. I'm not lifting up my temple. I am hurting my temple by doing too much. Our bodies, our temples rather, can withstand a lot. We have environmental toxins. We have, all kinds of different toxins in the food we're eating and all kinds of stuff. But our bodies always rejuvenates itself, especially the liver. The liver is our filter. It filters all the toxins out of our bodies. So those toxins, we want to decrease as much toxins as possible. So we are careful with the foods we eat. Processed foods make us lazy and tired. That's why you see in the Black community, there's all kinds of corner stores selling processed foods to keep people in those communities, keep them, lazy, basically. You smoke weed and you eat chips and you lay down and you knocked out sleep. So be careful what you do with your temple. So this Psalm 117 is about the great steadfast love that's toward I and I. Don't push it away. And the faithfulness of righteousness, it endures always. That's why we have a temple for righteousness to dwell inside of. Okay? And that temple where righteousness dwells inside of needs to be strengthened. You need to feed it with righteousness, with the word, with thoughts that are good thoughts. Make sure your thoughts are good, your words are good, and then the actions you do are the same as your thoughts and your words. Right? Don't be thinking and speaking and then doing something different. You gotta be in unity with yourself, okay? In unity with your righteousness. That's how you're gonna build that righteousness up. So as we end the psalm today with 1 Corinthians chapter 6, verse 19 to 20, talking about our temples and that righteousness lives within those temples, and that was received. You were received righteousness from righteousness itself. That is God. That's Lord. That's Jesus. That's the Christ. That's Jehovah Nisi. That's Jehovah Jireh. That's Jehovah, Shalom. This is what you've received this from all of that. Okay. And our Psalm 117, our verse today, and our word today, joy, coming supported from Philippians chapter 4, verse 4. Rejoice in righteousness always. Again, I will speak. Rejoice in righteousness always. Thank you so much for joining Chant a Day. As we outro, I want to say have a blessed day, everyone. And remember, your body is not a body. A body is referred to as something that doesn't have any life in it. That's a body. You are a temple. You are a living temple for righteousness to dwell. That's what you are. No more body. You are a temple for righteousness to dwell. So chant a psalm a day. Feed your life with the word. Feed your temple with goodness. And feed your mind with grace and mercy and compassion. And have a blessed day. Have a blessed day, everyone. Go chant a psalm a day. Blessed.